Alright, so this video is about The Hobbit, and there will be background video or background footage of me playing Voices of the Void while I read this. I may cut out at sometimes because there is a few points that I might want the video just to play for like maybe 10 seconds. Anyways, let's get into it. At the very beginning, Bilbo Baggins is living a quiet, predictable life in the Shire. He enjoys routines, meals, and comfort, and he has no interest in any adventure whatsoever. That starts to change, but hold on. But that starts to change when Gandalf visits him and hints that Bilbo might be capable of more than he thinks. Soon after, 13 dwarves arrive at his house around a day later, led by Thorin Oakenshield. They explain that their homeland under the Lonely Mountain was taken long ago by the dragon Smaug, who now sits on their treasure. Thorin wants to reclaim it, and Gandalf suggests Bilbo as their burglar. Bilbo is overwhelmed and unsure, but something inside him, his Took side of his family, which is his mother's side, pushes him to follow them the next morning. Anyways, now the journey actually begins for Bilbo. Not long after setting out, the group encounters 3 trolls who capture them and plan to eat them. Gandalf tricks the trolls by imitating their voices and delaying them until sunrise, turning them to stone. The group gains weapons from the trolls' cave, including swords that later prove important. Some of these are elven swords, which in Bilbo's sword starts glowing when any orcs or danger lurks near them. They continue traveling and reach Rivendell, where Elrond reads hidden moon letters on Thorin's map, revealing secret instructions about entering the Lonely Mountain. They were in ancient Elvish, those which only like high elders can read. No regular elves can, or any other regular people on Middle Earth. And then a while later, crossing the Misty Mountains, they're captured by a group of goblins. Gandalf rescues them in a chaotic escape, but Bilbo is knocked unconscious and left behind alone in the dark tunnels. He gets knocked down like a very, very long distance. I don't know how he survived. But after he wakes up, Bilbo meets Gollum. He's kind of like Dobby, except he's not nice. They play a little riddle game. If Bilbo loses, Gollum will eat him. If he wins, Gollum must show him the way out. Bilbo wins, thankfully. Bilbo finds a mysterious ring that makes him invisible, which saves his life when Gollum realizes the ring is missing. Which saves his life. But when Gollum realizes the ring is missing, he becomes enraged. But Bilbo escapes using its power. This moment is a major turning point. Bilbo survives on his own for the first time and not getting saved by Gandalf or any of the other warrior dwarves. After escaping, the group is chased by a group of wargs, which is just like giant wolves, and they're mounted by orcs. They climb trees to escape, but the wolves and goblins surround them. At the last moment, giant eagles swoop in and carry them to safety. They later stay with Beorn, I forgot to pronounce his name, who can turn into a giant bear. He can't really control that side of him, though. It's kind of like a werewolf, except he can turn into a bear, and he's a giant. He provides them with supplies and ponies, and that's the book side of him. But in like the movies, Borin is shown as more mysterious and intimidating, and his connection to nature is like deeper in the movies. I think that's how I should say that. I'm not sure. But he's also like a lot ruder or mean. I keep forgetting ruder's not a word. My bad. Anyways, the group enters Mirkwood. What? Mirkwood, One of the most dangerous parts of the journey. The forest is dark, confusing, and filled with giant spiders. The dwarves slowly lose hope and energy while traveling through the forest, which it just drains you. There's nothing you can do about it. It drains all the life out of you. Bilbo sets up here in a big way. He uses the ring to sneak around, fights off spiders, and rescues the dwarves when they get captured by the spiders. This is where he really begins to act like a leader, and gets like the dwarves start to actually trust him and embrace him. They, after escaping that, they are eventually captured by the wood elves. And Bilbo again helps the group escape by hiding everyone in barrels and floating them down a river. It was interesting. In the book, there wasn't like as much fighting as there was in the movies, and there also was no Legolas or Tauriel in the book. They're only in the movie part. I don't know why they decided to add them into this. They're from the Lord of the Rings. They play a big role in those movies. In here, they don't play too much of a role at all. The book is just doesn't include them whatsoever. Anyways, they floating down the river. They eventually arrive at Lake Town, where they meet Bard the Bowman. Bard is a bit of suspicious of Thorin, but helps him anyways. Thorin begins to act more proud and obsessed with reclaiming his kingdom, which isn't real too good at all. During Lake Town, there's like political tension shown, including a greedy master of Lake Town, and it focuses on Bard as a leader more while they're there. They eventually leave the town, and when they will reach the Lonely Mountain, they wait for the right moment to open the secret door, which they have to wait for a specific time during the night or dusk, one of those times, for light to shine on the door and show them where they need to go. They send in Bilbo first, alone. He meets Smaug. Instead of fighting, they talk. Smaug is clever and tries to manipulate Bilbo. I cannot speak. Bilbo notices a weak spot in Smaug's armor, and later shares this information with the rest of the group. After Bilbo escapes the mountain, Smaug flies to Lake Town in anger. He burns much of the town down, but Bard the bowman kills him with a well-aimed arrow. The moment is far quicker in the book than the movies. The movies make it way too dramatic. Anyways, with Smaug gone, Thorin claims the treasure, but becomes obsessed with it, especially the Arkenstone. He refuses to share it with others, including the people of Lake Town who suffered from Smaug's attack, which was their doing. Bilbo secretly takes the Arkenstone and gives it to Bard and the elves to use it as leverage in negotiations. This shows Bilbo's moral courage. Courage? Oh my goodness, there's going to be so many of me just messing up in this. Courage. He risks angering Thorin to prevent unnecessary conflict between them. Here's a part where they don't really do too much justice in the books. In the movies, I think the last movie is just all about this. But the Battle of the Five Armies. Tensions rise until there was an army of elves and humans outside the gates. But then an army of dwarves arrives from the Grey Mountain. They start fighting each other. They start battling. It's a massive battle between hundreds of, not hundreds, like tens of thousands of people. But eventually, they are attacked by orcs and wargs, leading to a massive battle between humans, elves, dwarves, and the orcs. During the battle, Thorin redeems himself by joining in on the fighting bravely. He's also mortally wounded in this process, but makes peace with Bilbo before he just dies to his wounds. Anyways, after the battle, Thorin is honored and the treasure is divided between it is offered to Bilbo, the humans, and the rest of the dwarves, but Bilbo refuses most of the gold, taking only a small share of what was. He returns to the Shire, where people think he's strange for having gone on such an adventure. Even though life goes back to normal, Bilbo is changed. He's braver, wiser, and has seen much of Middle-earth, and also has a very special ring which leads up to the next movies. Anyways, thank you for listening to this and listening to me messing up a lot of words. But the rest of this video is just gonna be oh god. Voices of the Void gameplay, so I'll probably include the audio that there is, but anyways, thank you. Have a very good day. Oscar Tango. Where are those? Follow the river. Nope. Oh my god. What? Okay, how do I fix this? 2 plus 8, 10. 6 plus 8, 10. 10. 10. Do I just suck at this? What the fuck? Okay. Okay, there we go. That was easy. Oh my god. Oh my god.